law is the law that has caused everyone to fall. You and the devil. Now the devil never had the 10 commandments. So the devil always had this law. There shall be no other gods. This is an eternal law that is traced back to heaven, that caused the devil and his entire angels to fall, because they chose another God. This sin is the root of all that we call sins.
Come on now.
This sin is the cause of everything that we call sins. This sin is the reason why we have sins. This sin is the very reason why sins exist in your life. You see, last series we spent time for you to understand that you and I are chosen. Right? Chosen by God. Over and over again. We kept repeating over and over again that you and I are chosen. That the main deal, the difference between the reason why we go through the mess that we go through, the reason why we're going through an identity crisis, is because we did not recognize that we were chosen by God. And so we've come up with all other ways and all other reasons for our existence. We've even settled to believe that we came by accident, and so we're here by accident, so we lack purpose. But truthfully, we're chosen. This series is about the fact that you did not choose God.
Come on now.
That while God chose you, you did not choose God. It is ultimately a series about worship. And ironically, the little thing called Sabbath school is also talking about worship. Which shows to me that God is trying to speak to us. We're going to start with Romans 1. But I want to make 3 premises. First and foremost, I want to say premise number 1. That humanity is damaged by sin. This sin is that humanity decided not to choose God even though God chose humanity. This has caused an exchange between God and humanity. And Romans talks about the 3 exchanges that humanity has done. You'll read it as you read it along. Just look out for the word exchange. And you'll realize that humanity exchanged something for something else. My last premise is that this thing called good news or gospel is that finally humanity has found a way. God has provided a way in the gospel to rescue humanity from its damaged condition. That's the good news. That humanity does not have to stay damaged. That you and I have a way out. But in order to understand that, you have to understand the extent of your damage.
Come on now. Come on now.
In order to understand this good news, you have to understand how bad it truly is.
Yes.
And what you will learn today is that what the world and popular culture has said, this is not part of the damage. It is, in fact, part of the damage.
Yes.
What the world has excused as excusable is not excusable. In that, in fact, humanity has become so damaged that it's lost its way of finding out that it really is damage. That damage has become the normality. That we have normalized our damaged condition.
Come on now.
And have made it okay with ourselves, where we've completely lost track of what is damaged and what is good. In order to establish this thesis, before we even get into Romans chapter 1, I want to read with you a couple of passages that declares what human beings were made to be.
Come on now.
Genesis chapter 1. All back to the beginning.
Come on.
Genesis chapter 1. Open your Bibles. I want to read it. This shows us what God intended when He came about with the human project. The human project is something that caused chaos. wasn't an easy project, nor was it an easy decision. It took preparation, planning, and time. It took plan A's and plan B's to be in place because he knew how fickle, how fragile this project will be. He understood that in this project there are liabilities that creation is probably not ready for. But he went about it anyway because the human project was so important. Because in the human project is the God project. Genesis chapter 1. After God came in, there's chaos, there's darkness over the surface of the deep, the Spirit of God is over the waters. He took this chaos that we are called into, he takes it and manages it, restores it, brings beauty out of it, and makes it function. Do you see that? Genesis 1. That's what happened. God walks into it, darkness is over the surface of the deep, and God says, let there be light. He takes his divine nature, takes the malfunctioning, and makes it function. Vegetation comes out, animals and trees and everything. And at the end of this, he says, verse 26, then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his own image. God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him.
Come on
now. Male and female. Amen. He created them. And God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it and have dominion, repeat it again, over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the heavens and over every living thing that moves on the earth. God takes man and puts him in dominion. He puts man in his own likeness. For God had dominion over the universe. He allows man to transcend over every living thing and over every part of creation. Man now reigns. And he created man in his own image. Notice that man is called to do what? First thing we see about man is that man is made in the image of. Therefore, as D.A. Carson writes in his book, We Are What We Worship, he writes, man is an imaging being. Break it down. Man is a creation of reflection. You and I are made to reflect. We are made to take an image and reflect it back. Therefore, it is not a choice whether we reflect or not. The key is, what are you reflecting?
Come on now. Come on now.
You reflect what you choose to worship. The reflecting happens in the worshiping. Because in worshiping, Paul says again, by beholding, you become. You are a creature of worship. You cannot choose not to worship. You have to worship because that is the very reason why you came to be. It is not a matter of whether or not you worship. It is who or what you worship